Having an advisory board sets LiveRez apart from all the other vacation rental software programs I've ever looked at. And the biggest reason it does is because it emphasizes the whole importance on partnership. So having a software program is a tool, and if you have an ability to communicate with that company and talk to them about the tool and making that tool better, it's always a great partnership between individuals, and it makes that tool so much stronger. And the advisory board is probably the best way that LiveRez does that. They pull in individuals who use the software program pretty completely, and we're able to talk about how it works in everyday instances within our variety of different vacation rental companies across the nation and the world.
So something different that we've done this year is invited some of our engineers to sit in and just to kind of, just tuck themselves back there, but be able to really hear the feedback, or maybe there's a pain point and really understand why it's painful versus, us playing the telephone game and trying to explain, and for them to really see what you're using, what you care about, and hear it firsthand, and to really closer connect our partners to the very people that are working on the product.
Yeah, I think having an advisory board in general is really important because there's so many different property managers, so many different business models. Ours in particular is very complicated, and you don't know what you don't know. So rather than having the developers and everybody kind of sitting in a bubble and not really understanding, and like we said yesterday, hear the story, let's hear the story. Why does you need this? Why does this have to happen? How is it going to benefit you? Explain in your area, for example, why do you need pool heat? Why do you need these things? And then when we can explain it, it comes to life for them, and then they can put it together for us.
Yeah, I think it's important. It's a good idea for the software company to communicate with the users of their software and receive regular feedback to make sure that the company and the engineers are on the same track with what the customers are needing out in the field.
Well, being on the advisory board has been helpful for me, and as I can tell everybody, because they really listen to you.
Well, I think it's really interesting that a software company would actually choose to involve the managers in a team of people that can guide and advise. I think it makes, at least for me personally in my business, it makes me feel like LiveRez cares about us as property managers and the challenges that we face, things that may or may not work in our industry. So I think it's very progressive, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
I was actually shocked when I sat down in the meeting yesterday at the progress and how much work that they've put in to just the small amount of input. That really, I joined the advisory board in July, and here we are in October, and I can already see 3 or 4 major changes that have been made as a result of not just my input, but us as a group, things that we've all weighed in on and said this needs to happen, and they did it.
Yeah, I think that the coolest thing about LiveRez is that it's been able to grow as the technology changes and as the industry changes and as our company has changed. And so as we've sort of wanted to move forward and take advantage of these new technologies, by and large, LiveRez has been right there with us and had a solution for the things that we wanted to implement.
When I started on the advisory board, we were a brand new company with LiveRez, and there's been a lot of ways that I've seen the stuff that we talk about, the topics that we talk about in advisory board, actually come to fruition at the end and see them built into the platform and into the software for actual use. And then they're constantly tweaking it. So when you go back for your next meeting with advisory board, you actually say, okay, we have it. We talked about it last time. You guys implemented it. That's really great. But there's these little tweaks and stuff. So it's a great form of communication between everyone, and it really makes a huge impact in our ability to actually run our business on a day-to-day basis.